Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp. Now this might sound a little strange. You probably wouldn't expect this from Glen and I, but we've been getting quite a few messages asking about Hello Kitty Island Adventure, which is a bit like an Animal Crossing style experience that originally launched on iOS and it's now made its way to the Nintendo Switch. And just to mention up front, there is a physical deluxe edition as well, which we will talk about in detail later when we get to the price and value section. And yeah, with Hello Kitty, we didn't cover it when it originally came out, did we?
No, we didn't, but we're going to cover it today.
We are indeed, for a sponsored video.
Yep, we've got a sponsored video today, and let's just say right up front, obviously the two of us, two men in our 40s, as painful as it is to admit that age, but we're not going to go deep into the lore of Hello Kitty. We don't know enough about it to do that. But what we are going to tell you is whether this is a good game or not, and we can say right up front that it is very good, and we're going to tell you exactly why.
Absolutely, and as with all of our sponsored content, we do like to give away a copy of the game. Just let us know down in the comments what you think of it really. Are you as surprised as we were about how good the game actually turned out to be? Right then, what is the Hello Kitty Island Adventure Deluxe Edition all about? Well, let's find out. The story kicks off at Big Adventure Park, which is this colourful island that's been set up as a theme park. My Melody, one of the Hello Kitty characters, and no, that's not me writing a song, is opening a brand new gift shop, and your adventure begins from there.
Yeah, you start off by creating your own character, and then you're treated to a cutscene where you are on an aeroplane headed to the island. Things go a bit awry, and you end up crashing into a cake making machine exploding. And you jump onto the island, and this then sets the stage for the game's opening quests, where you're kind of trying to round up all of the passengers that would have been on the plane, and in turn they'll start to give you some early story quests to get you going. As I said, you'll create your own character, and you have different animal types, colours, facial expressions, etc. And the character you build, as far as I know, of course, does feel like it wouldn't be out of place in the Hello Kitty universe.
Yeah, even if you do base yours entirely on the Tottenham mascot, Glen.
Well, you got to personalise it, ain't you?
So the first hour or so acts as a tutorial, eases you into the game, introduces you to the game's main mechanics, things like building friendships, completing tasks, and unlocking areas of the map. Yeah, it's not just about like chatting and gift giving and those quests. There's that home decoration element as well. You'll be furnishing houses and preparing them for new island visitors. And it has that relaxing, cozy vibe. We hear a lot about cozy games these days, don't we?
Yeah, it's a new buzzword, cozy, isn't it?
There does seem to be a stronger push towards exploration and questing. And within your journal, you'll find a full quest log that you can select, and you'll have a little guiding light that you can follow towards the objective.
You can switch this off, by the way, if you want to just find it by yourself, but to be honest, I found it quite useful to not have to just traipse around and know exactly where you're going next at times. To help you keep a foot of exactly what you're doing in the game, you do have like an organizer that you can bring up by the press of a button. This will show you the quests that you currently have active. These can be main or side quests, and you can make one of these your active quest, so you can then follow the aforementioned guiding light. And it also shows you your friendship levels with each of the characters, and this is where you can access the daily quests that are offered to you as well. So yeah, dropping in here every so often is a good way of keeping yourself informed as to what to do next.
The island itself, and the islands I should say, are surprisingly large. There's multiple biomes, swampy areas, tropical reefs, and even volcanic zones, and each one does feel distinct. For example, the swamp has a sort of nature reserve that you gradually repopulate, and that becomes its own goal within the game.
Yeah, that's where the life sim part of it kicks in that you are capturing bugs and creatures to populate, as Mark said, those nature reserve areas, with each biome having different ones available. And another big life sim part of it we did mention slightly earlier is that idea of furnishing homes. That could be your own home that you get a short way into the game after fulfilling a few quests, but also other characters that start to move into the island. You can furnish the homes for those to a specific criteria that they've asked for, and obviously fulfilling this will mean that they then move in.
Yeah, and all of this progresses you through the game, as does your friendship, and the friendship system ties into it. As you grow closer to different characters by doing tasks for them or giving them gifts, you'll unlock rewards. Early on it's simple stuff like clothes or decorative items, but later it starts unlocking new quest lines and even new areas.
The characters that you'll meet, again, as far as we can tell, are characters from the Hello Kitty universe, and they do seem to be appropriately placed For example, there's a character that seems to be a bit goth-like, was it Karumi or something to that effect, who's in the spooky area, and they'll give you quests that seem to fit in quite nicely to their character.
It is probably also worth mentioning that there's a fast travel system that you can access, so you don't have to just go traipsing around everywhere back and forth. You also unlock new abilities as you go. One of the first is swimming. You'll be given flippers or something similar, which lets you access previously unreachable parts of the island. You also get balloons that let you glide when jumping off high points, which is a nice little touch for exploration.
There are certain parts that are almost gated by a progression, so it may be that you have to build something or find a certain amount of something to open a gate. There are also little almost shrines that you have to go in and collect certain materials from there.
There are things like mini games as well sprinkled throughout. So you've got like cooking, baking mini games where you gather ingredients and whip up meals, and the token of the genre, fishing. It has to be in there.
Exactly. And there is also a multiplayer mode which we weren't able to try out. That's local or online, where friends can visit your island, but they will need a copy of the game themselves in order for you to use this.
I think overall gameplay wise, it doesn't just lean on its license. It's an enjoyable experience that fans of this genre, regardless of their Hello Kitty affiliation, are going to find some enjoyment in.
Yeah, if you like the idea of life sim games, but you feel you need a bit of a push by the game sometimes to keep you invested, this game actually does that very well.
Visuals are actually one of the biggest surprises for me. I think it looks great. The art style is vibrant and charming, exactly what you'd expect from the Hello Kitty universe, well, I imagine at least. But it's not just the style, it runs at a smooth 60 frames per second, and it is genuinely well polished.
Yep, as we've mentioned already, each biome does feel quite distinct. It has a nice flavour to it, and there's enough visual variety owing to this when moving between each area that things don't ever feel stale.
Yeah, the basics, things like load times are absolutely fine. And when it comes to that performance, I did mention 60 frames per second, but you did notice a couple of drops, didn't you?
Yeah, there were a few times where the game stuttered slightly. Obviously, just to mention it so people are aware, but it was never a major issue. It was never anything that really affected the gameplay.
Absolutely, nothing major, but certainly something to keep in mind. There is no voice acting per se, but characters do make their signature noises. The soundtrack is quite excellent, actually. It's upbeat and cheerful, and every biome has its own theme that matches the vibe of the area, Glen.
Yeah, like the spooky swamp that we mentioned has a kind of an eerie feel to it, albeit still charming and kind of appropriate, I guess, for the license.
So in terms of value, the game is available digitally on the eShop for £35.99 or your regional equivalents. But as we mentioned at the beginning, there is a physical deluxe edition coming out as well.
Yeah, this deluxe edition has a few different extras. It's got an event bundle, a starter bundle, and a crafting bundle. So each of these will offer various pieces of material and items and whatnot that can help you along the way. The event bundle, for example, includes 1 full year of legacy event clothing and theme furniture tied to seasonal events. This is priced at £52.99 here in the UK, €59/$99, and that's the RRP of course, and it's going to have a general release.
It's also worth noting within this section where we're looking at value, there's absolutely no sign of mobile game here. You haven't got any microtransactions, none of that nonsense. The currency you earn in the game, you use in the game, and that's it really.
Good stuff, yeah, absolutely. So that's Hello Kitty Island Adventure from the perspective of two very old men. But I think, to be honest, it's not a bad thing for us to talk about it, because whilst we can't go deep in about the characters and whatnot, you know what we're talking about in terms of just the game.
Yeah.
It's a good game, isn't it? It's a fun game.
It is. It's a surprisingly solid experience, actually. And I have to be honest, I was quite surprised when we did our homework for this. Obviously, whenever we get offered a sponsored video, we're like, all right, we'll get back to you kind of thing. We have a look online. And I think we were both surprised by the positive reception across the board.
Yeah, it's always you're never quite sure with licensed games because in the past there has been a tendency to rush them out to meet the release of a film or whatnot. But when they just want to make a game about an IP and they have a clear idea and no real deadline to meet, the difference is unbelievable and you get a really solid experience for it.
You really do, yeah. I think this has been sitting in the top 10 on the eShop across all regions since it came out.
Oh wow. Just again, a big thank you to the publishing team for sponsoring this video. Don't forget, as we said, you can win a copy of the game yourself. Just put a comment below, tell us your favourite Hello Kitty character and why, and we'll pick a winner at random.
That's a really cruel competition for our audience. Or just tell us your thoughts.
Just say something. We'll
Anything.
pick someone. Yeah. Thank you to our patrons, of course, and our channel members for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, and until next time, happy gaming.